Families seek answers at NTSB hearing for deadliest U.S. aviation disaster in 25 years. Imagine the heartbreak and grief felt by the families of 67 individuals whose lives were cut tragically short in a mid-air collision near Washington, D.C. in January. Now, those same families are gathered to witness the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, delve into the harrowing details of the accident through a comprehensive 3-day hearing. This event is not just about uncovering facts. It's a moment of hope and accountability for those seeking answers. On January 29, Flight 5342 collided with an Army helicopter over Washington, marking the deadliest U.S. aviation disaster since 1994. The impact was devastating, affecting communities across the nation, particularly in New England. During the initial hours of the hearing, investigators shared several critical findings. They discovered that the Army helicopter was flying above its designated altitude, and its altitude readings were unreliable. To provide context, imagine a car driving well beyond the speed limit without a properly functioning speedometer. It's a dangerous mix of recklessness and poor equipment. In addition to these revelations, the NTSB presented audio and video recordings from the night of the crash, offering a raw, unfiltered look at the events leading up to the tragedy. These visual aids can be incredibly powerful tools, helping investigators piece together the sequence of events and identify potential points of failure. The hearing is not just focused on what went wrong, but also on the broader implications for aviation safety. Specifically, the board is examining the roles of both the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and the Army in the incident. They are looking closely at military helicopter routes, collision avoidance technologies, and the training provided to air traffic controllers at Ronald Reagan National Airport. Think of it as a thorough review to prevent similar disasters in the future. Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy opened the proceedings with heartfelt condolences for the families present. On behalf of the entire agency, we are so sorry for your loss, she said. We wish we could have met you under different circumstances. Her words underscored the gravity of the situation and the board's commitment to understanding what happened to prevent such tragedies. Among those in attendance was Bob Collins, whose son Chris, a native of Massachusetts, perished in the crash. Despite the technical nature of the proceedings, Collins expressed unwavering faith in the NTSB process. I truly believe they are going to get to the answers we need, he stated. Collins's resilience and determination are a testament to the strength of human spirit in the face of unimaginable loss. Collins and other family members also had a meeting with the Secretary of the Army, a move that marked a significant step towards greater transparency and accountability. Collins described his initial skepticism, but left the meeting with renewed hope. I walked into that meeting with very low expectations, he admitted. I came out feeling some hope, and I had the chance to speak directly to the Secretary. This interaction highlights the importance of direct communication between affected families and government officials. The tragic flight also claimed the lives of several individuals with strong ties to New England. Among them were Spencer Lane, Christine Lane, Jin Han, Vadim Naumov, and Yevgenia Shishkova, all members of the Skating Club of Boston. They were returning from a development camp in Wichita, Kansas, when the crash occurred. Additionally, Elizabeth Ann Keyes, a graduate of Tufts University, and Kaya Duggins, a Harvard Law School graduate, were also on board. This hearing is a crucial step towards understanding the causes of this devastating accident and implementing measures to prevent similar incidents in the future. As the proceedings unfold, one cannot help but wonder, how can we ensure that our skies remain safe for everyone? What changes need to be made in military operations and aviation regulations? These are questions that will undoubtedly spark debate and discussion. The road to justice and understanding is long and challenging, but the families and investigators are committed to walking it together. As we follow the developments, let us remember the lives lost and the lessons learned. NTSB investigation, helicopter crash near Reagan Airport. Imagine a scenario where communication breakdown leads to tragedy. This is precisely what unfolded in the heartbreaking collision between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines passenger jet near Washington Reagan National Airport in January. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, revealed during a recent hearing that the helicopter crew never received a critical instruction from air traffic control to pass behind the jet, despite the controller's attempts to communicate. Approximately 15 seconds before impact, the controller inquired whether the Black Hawk had spotted the approaching airliner. Just 3 seconds later, the controller directed the helicopter to move behind the plane. However, due to a simultaneous transmission from the helicopter's microphone, the crew missed this crucial command, as documented by the Black Hawk's flight recorder. These findings are part of a comprehensive 6-month NTSB investigation, which has resulted in the release of thousands of pages of documentation, including newly available video footage from the runway. This evidence pertains to the tragic collision involving American Airlines Flight 5T42 and the Black Hawk helicopter, which was conducting a training mission at the time. One notable aspect highlighted in the investigation was the potential discrepancy between the barometric and radio altimeters in the helicopter. A test flight conducted over the Potomac River revealed that the barometric altitude readings were consistently lower by about 100 feet than those obtained through radio and geometric positioning. Additionally, the barometric altimeter was partially obstructed within the helicopter, further complicating the situation. Tragically, all 64 passengers and crew aboard the airliner perished in the crash, along with the 3 individuals in the helicopter. According to the NTSB, the helicopter crew was unaware of the impending disaster. In contrast, the pilots of the airliner expressed frustration and took evasive action just 2 seconds before the collision, pulling the plane upwards. Family members of the victims attended the hearing, many wearing photographs of their loved ones as a poignant reminder of their loss. As officials played the newly released surveillance footage, many broke down in tears. Over the course of 3 days, the NTSB will question representatives from the Army, Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and others, aiming to shed light on various aspects of the crash investigation. The hearings will cover a wide range of topics, including the role of altitude measurement discrepancies in the accident. The investigation uncovered additional information regarding Captain Rebecca Lobach, who was piloting the training flight alongside an instructor. In February 2022, Lobach failed a night vision goggle annual examination, although she passed subsequent tests. Another evaluator noted her performance as well below average, highlighting numerous difficulties she encountered in the aircraft. She was initially reassigned to the lowest readiness level and underwent a month of intensive training before demonstrating full proficiency. Other superiors and colleagues did not raise any concerns about Lobach's performance. On the eve of the hearings, Senator Ted Cruz introduced legislation known as the Rotor Act, which mandates that all aircraft, including military ones, transmit ADS-B, Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast, location data during flights. ADS-B enables aircraft to share their positions with both other aircraft and air traffic controllers, significantly enhancing situational awareness and safety. Currently, only aircraft flying above 18,000 feet are required to have ADS-B installed, and certain military aircraft are exempt from transmitting their locations for security reasons. However, the NTSB recommended to the FAA nearly 2 decades ago that ADS-B be mandated across all aircraft types. ADS-B is a game changer when it comes to safety, emphasized Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. It provides an immediate and substantial contribution to safety, saving countless lives. The NTSB's preliminary report in February suggested that the helicopter crew may have relied on inaccurate altitude data from their altimeters, leading to conflicting readings in the moments leading up to the crash. One pilot believed they were at 400 feet, while the other estimated their altitude to be 300 feet. But here's where it gets controversial. Could the implementation of ADS-B have prevented this tragic incident? How much responsibility lies with the communication systems, and how much with the human factors involved? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. NTSB hearing live updates, Army helicopter crash investigation, air traffic control issues. A shocking revelation has emerged from the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) hearing into the deadly mid-air collision between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet near Washington's Reagan National Airport in January 2025. The crew of the Black Hawk helicopter faced not one, but two critical problems that fateful night: inaccurate altitude information and poor communication with air traffic controllers. As the NTSB began its 3-day hearing, experts and released documents painted a picture of a perfect storm of errors. The helicopter's barometric altimeter provided incorrect data, leading the crew to believe they were flying at a lower altitude than they actually were. This discrepancy was not flagged or discussed by the crew, despite the narrow maneuvering space at Reagan National Airport and numerous close calls in the past. But here's where it gets even more concerning. The air traffic controller on duty that night seemed exceptionally busy and was not instilling a lot of confidence in the pilots. According to testimony from a pilot who landed at the airport just before the collision, the controller was changing his mind on clearances, adding to the chaos. The Army's response to the known issues with the helicopter model involved in the crash has been under scrutiny. When pressed by an NTSB member, Army aviation engineer Scott Rosengren revealed that the Army unit in charge of helicopters would seek an airworthiness recommendation and organize a safety working group. However, this response did not provide a clear answer to the question of whether the Army was taking concrete steps to address the problem. Meanwhile, the Black Hawk crew struggled to understand air traffic control transmissions, citing the bright lights of the Washington area as a contributing factor. In a striking exchange, the wife of the Black Hawk crew chief who died in the collision asked whether the Army knew about the crew's burnout. This raises questions about the Army's responsibility in ensuring the well-being of its personnel. The NTSB has released an animation of the collision, which appears to show that the Army Black Hawk helicopter remained above the 200-foot maximum altitude allowed during the entirety of the portion of the route that required it to remain below that level. This has sparked debate about the safety of the helicopter routes near National Airport. In fact, air traffic controllers at Reagan National Airport had proposed moving the helicopter route where the crash happened, only to be told by a regional manager that the idea was too political. This raises questions about the priorities of the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and whether safety concerns are being taken seriously. The FAA's safety program had identified some risk of midair collisions along the Potomac River, but it is unclear what action was taken in response to this finding. The NTSB is considering safety recommendations on altimeters, and the Army is making changes to its helicopter flights, including requiring flight crews to verify that the aircraft's ADSB system is working before each flight. As the hearing continues, one thing is clear: the families of the victims deserve answers. The NTSB's chair, Jennifer Homendy, apologized to the families, saying, "We are so sorry for your loss. We wish we would have met you in different circumstances. Please know your loved ones are why we fight so hard for safety. But apologies are not enough. The public deserves to know what went wrong and how it can be prevented in the future." The NTSB's investigative hearing is a crucial step in uncovering the truth, and we will be following the developments closely. What do you think? Should the Army and FAA be held accountable for the safety lapses that led to this tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments.